Welcome back, baseball fans, to the 1974 Winter Baseball Classic Tournament. Today, we got a series in the Western Division elimination round series between Hollywood and Mexico. This is our first venture into the losers bracket of the second round. I got to do some catching up with you. Let's go take a look at the overall bracket because, well, I played the winners brackets, and the reason I played the winners brackets was because there was not going to be a reveal of any of the cards again, and I didn't want to do that to the viewer. So now that we're in elimination mode in the losers bracket, at the end of the video, you will see the 20 cards of the team that gets eliminated today. So we'll have that to look forward to. Let's do a review of what happened in the winners bracket, which includes Missoula won out west. They swept SeaTac 3 straight, so they go from 4-1 to 7-1, and they have the number 1 seed, and they won this tournament a year ago. It's all extremely impressive. In the Gulfport division, Memphis, after winning 4-2, they beat Mississippi 3-1. A very impressive 7-3. They are the number 2 seed. Athens, a worst case number 4 seed. They stunned South Carolina 4-2, and then they beat up Savannah. Well, didn't beat them up. Tight series, 3-2. They're 7-4. They have the number 3 seed. And Little Rhode Island, number 2 seed out east, after going 4-3, they followed up with a 3-2 maximum number of games played, so they're 7-5 at a number 4 seed. Coney Island is 6-6, waiting to see where they'll be in the round of 8 to be determined. It all is until we resolve the losers bracket. Savannah, very good, 6-5. Mississippi, a decent 5-6. And Seattle's 4-4. So when you look at the teams who came out of the winners bracket, they'll probably stay in the 5-8 range, and the winners of the losers bracket might just have to settle for 9-12 unless we get some sweeps or so forth. But these are the next 4 battles. Again, you lose, you're done. We have a couple cases a year ago where New Orleans went 4-7 a year ago. Mexico went 4-7 a year ago. Good thing is that Team Mexico is doing a very good job of erasing memories of a year past. As in the first round, yeah, they did lose 4-1 here, but they're doing very well against Hollywood. The last time you saw Hollywood, they were shut out 3 games in a row by Seattle. And their hitting woes continue. Game 1, Mexico-Hollywood. Bob Forsch versus Jerry Royce. In this one, Jerry Royce gives up a homer to Ken McMullen, an RBI single to Darrell Porter, RBI single to Cedeno for 3 runs. After 3 straight shutouts, that's 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, at least 32 scoreless innings. We don't know what happened in the game previous to the shutout. They actually score a run. Hollywood scores a run in the 6th inning. A single, a double, a stolen base, a double, an error, and a walk. They scored 1 run. That's right, folks. Mercer singled. Bonds doubled. Trying to score from first on the double, he gets thrown out the plate. Bond steals third anyway, scores on a double. Error puts guys on the corners, walk loads the bases, and they're stranded. That's how you get 1 run on 5 base runners. Classic Hollywood. That's the only run they would get today. They lose. And they are done juggling lineups and all that nonsense at this point. They are ready to go home, folks. Hollywood they just aren't into this thing at all. They are stinking up the joint. Game 2, Don Wilson for Team Mexico against Bill Singer. First inning, though, Hollywood says, now hold on for a second. Johnny Grubb homers, Bond singles, scores on a Danny Cater single. 2 runs in the first inning, doubling their offensive output of the last 4 games combined. But then Bill Singer gives it all away. Single, single, RBI double, 2 RBI double. Then single, single, right here, 3-run homer Cedeno. And then here, solo homer Cedeno. We are warming up to the 1974 Cesar Cedeno card. And why is that? He has plenty of homers versus right-handed pitchers. He's got a 7 and a 9 spot on an 8. And sure, he hits like 268 or something. And he's often a 300 or a 290 hitter in the rest of the timeline. But I am loving this power out of Cedeno with his 74 card. So we have to rethink this for our summer league. All in all, it's a 7-2 game. After that first inning, Hollywood, they just melted. They just curled up in the fetal position. They decided to, in Hollywood, there's better things to do. Maybe they can go to Beverly Hills, to Craig's for an appetizer. Maybe they can go down Santa Monica to the Hoka Shoe Factory outlet store. Maybe they can go over to Jones over there in La Brea. I don't know. Something like that, but they have no interest in the WBC. And hopefully, I'm looking for a game today. Well, I'm really hoping Mexico can sweep these turds. Sweep them away. Get rid of these guys. Game 3. Hollywood. They'll turn to their ace, Andy Messersmith. 20-6, 259 ERA, 292 innings. Great card. Don't need it. Andy's got a better card than this, believe it or not, in 75. That's the one we're using in our summer league. And Mexico is going to go with a lefty, Luke Walker. Interesting case of a guy who's been in our league for quite some time with middling stats because he throws left-handed. Often ends up as a long man in a bullpen with an ERA of around 4 and a quarter. Well, he's trying to make the league again in 74 with a 5-5 record and a 4.99 ERA in 92 innings. Probably not a starter, possibly a long reliever. We would call him, in quotes, a lefty who kind of gets righties out. We always say that when they're terrible against lefties. We just say, oh, he's so horrible against lefties. Let's just call him a lefty who gets the righties out then, even if he doesn't. So let's get started from, where are we here? Are we in Chula Vista? Are we in Coronado? Are we in Cardiff by the Sea? Somewhere deep in the south, near the border there. Let's get started. Leading off for the Hollywood Hills is Bobby Mercer. 45 walks. He is a beast stealer. Let's try steal a base. Let's just do whatever we can today and just try and pretend we're doing something here. He steals a base. Now you got Kurt Bavacqua. 6'10", second X. You got Felix putting me on there. He's a 2E18. He makes the play. Runner at third. 1 out. Johnny Grubb. 5'12". He strikes out. And with 2 outs, it's Bobby Bonds. 5'11", you walked him. And it's LaRon Lee. 2-8, he grounds the third. Bottom of the first, it's Cedeno versus a righty. 66, double 1-3 off of Messersmith is a base hit. Double A stealer, gonna take off. And he'll be safe. Cedeno at second, dusts himself off. Felix Millan, 3-10, is hit by the pitch. 2 on for Tony Oliva. 56 off Messersmith, single 1 at 12. He catches it. They're loaded. And they're rowdy here. They were knocked out in the first round a year ago. We'd like to see a turnaround and get some success for this franchise. Darrell Porter, the cleanup hitter. Bases loaded, nobody out. Here's the pitch. 6'10 off Messersmith is third X. But Bavacqua is at third as a 4E33 third baseman. And he gets a fielder's choice out of it. Way to go, Kurt. Run scores. Runners on the corners. 1-0. It's John Doherty. 2-10 Doherty with a base hit in the center field. 1 run scores. Porter holds at second. First and second, 1 out for Ken McMullen. 33. Pops out. And number 7 hitter, Dave Schneck. 47. Strikes out. Top of 2. It's Danny Cater. 67 is a walk. Larry Cox, 65, that's the power roll, but it's homer 1-8 fly ball. He misses it. Doesn't have power anyway. Ouch. Roger Metzger, 1-3. Line out. And Dick Green, 1-4. Grounds to third. There you go, folks. Bottom of 2, it's JLU. 2-4. Second. Rudy Mioli, 44. Center X. Mercer is a 2-7 in center field. Makes the catch. And we have Cedeno. 48 for Cedeno is a K. We'll go to the third. 2-zip. Bobby Mercer, 45. Gets a walk. B steal. You want to steal again? Sure. Let's keep doing this. Ah, he's out on a 19. There you go. Kurt Bavacqua. 3-6. It's base hit center field. Well, so much for that base runner. Johnny Grubb, 1-5. Homer 1-17. And it's gone. And it's a 2-2 tie with 1 out. Bobby Bonds, 69 is a walk. And Luke Walker's done very little, to impress us today. Bonds will steal as a double-A stealer. He still might be out. He's out by a whisker. Oh, my goodness. And 2 outs. We have a walk, a single, a homer, and a walk, and there's 2 outs. Nobody on base. For LeRon Lee, 39, another walk. And Danny Cater, 410. Third X. McMullen's a 3-10. He finally makes the play. It's 2-2. Luke Walker's been rather completely uninteresting in this. Bottom of the third, it's Felix Millan. 65, rolls the second. Oliva, 56. That single 1-12 chance, and he gets it. Darrell Porter, 58. Second X. This is Dick Green. This should be double play. He's a 2E15. But it's a cheap single. Look at that. Off of Dick Green. Boy, a 213 hitting second baseman, and you get a hit off him? Oh, that's not looking good for his chances. He's definitely not going to Oakland, I don't think. They couldn't hold on to him or Gene Tennis in the offseason. 2 on, 1 out. John Doherty, 67's a K. And with 2 outs, Ken McMullen, 2-6, grounds short. We're tied at 2 in the fourth. Larry Cox, 64, second X. This is Mian, 2E18. Makes the play. Roger Metzger, 1-3. Lines a second. And Dick Green, 3-7. Here it is. Single 1-4, and he lines out. My goodness. 2 runs might be the top point. It's 0, 0, 0, 1, 2, and 2 thus far in the last 5 games for Hollywood. And they've had 5 batters reach an inning a couple times and have only scored one or 2 runs. So there's that. Dave Schneck, 33, pops to first. JLU, 3-7. You don't mess with JLU, a base hit. Rudy Mioli, 3-8, is a single ... and that's a Rudy Mioli moment right there for the 244 hitter. Runners on the corners, 1 out. Going to bring it up for Cedeno. He's so fast. You figure you get a fielder's choice. Beat it out. It's an easy RBI. So they'll bring it up here on the corners. And it's Cedeno. 210. Left B question mark. Let's run JLU. So he's got a, what is he, a 10? He's a 10, 11, 12. Grubb's a 0. He's running on a 12. Here we go. And he's gone down on a 20. Johnny Grubb got some mustard on that throw. And that is a 7-2 double play to end the inning. It tied at 2. Almost a dead even game. Mexico's had 1 more base runner. In the 5th, it's Bobby Mercer, 39, short. Bavacqua, 57's a K. And Johnny Grubb, 3-5, flies to right field. And before you know it, folks, our boy Luke Walker just retired 7 guys in a row after all the fortuitous caught stealings and so forth. He's given up 2 earned runs in 5 innings. Bottom of the 5th. from Mexico or nearby. Let's pause a moment for station identification.
This is the Shrimp Trawler video channel.
Este es el canal de videos de camaroneros.
You know, when they do play these games at Cardiff by the Sea, they actually play them on the beach. Just throw some bases out there, have the guys, you know. I know baseball on the surf seems difficult. It's okay, unless you hit a ball and you conk a surfer in the head. That would stink. But it's convenient to Pipes or Miracles or any of those, you know, colorfully named cafes nearby in Cardiff by the Sea. Bottom of the fifth, or Dana Point, one of those. I don't know. Bottom of the fifth, Messersmith will continue. 2-2. Messersmith really is an outstanding pitcher, so he really should be all over this matchup and give Team Hollywood a road win. Let's see what transpires. Felix Mian. 110 is a base hit. Now you got Hall of Famer Tony Oliva. One of his final cards, 74 or 75, but that'll be it for him. 2-9 lines a second. Daryl Porter. He's an improving player now. He's still very young. Doesn't really start turning it on until like 77-ish or so. 2-9, though, is double 1-2. It's a base hit. You got runners on the corners. Got to bring it up in a tie game for John Doherty. Trying to make a name for himself. He's one of these undrafted free agents that we know very little about. You look at the card. Power. B, hit and runner. Hits around 272 against righties in a platoon. 413 at first base. Just a guy, we often say, at a premium position. So he probably doesn't have a future. If he rips one here, though, he might. Here's the pitch to John Doherty. 49 off Mr. Smith, he strikes out. And with 2 on and 2 outs, Ken McMullen in a nice card for him. 3 homers and 60 at-bats. That's a really nice ratio there. 67, though, strikes out as Messersmith bears down for Team Hollywood. We go to the 6th. What do we do with Luke Walker? He survived 5, only giving up 2 runs. 6 is his breaking inning. In the bullpen, we got Elias Sosa, Ramon Hernandez closing things out, Cy Acosta, and Dave LaRoche with a lousy card. I think Walker's going to chase a win in a 2-2 tie into the 6th inning. Got to break him to get him out of there. Leading off, it's Bobby Bonds. That's a base hit. You know, Bobby, you probably shouldn't get caught stealing here, you know, versus a pitcher who, well, anytime he pitches, he's on the ropes. At the start of the game, if he steps on the mound, he's on the ropes because he's just not a good pitcher. So you don't want to get caught stealing. So Bonds will just stay at first this time, and they'll get a rally going, we think. LaRon Lee, 2-5. That's a 6-4-3 double play, of course, as that completely blows up in my face as soon as I mention it. If you steal a base, you don't have a double play, and so forth and so on, and whatever. Danny Cater, 2-6, double 1-13 is a double. And again, a single and a double in the inning. I haven't scored yet. And it's Larry Cox time. If he reaches, Walker hits the point of weakness. Here's your pitch to Larry Cox. 1-6 is a pop to first base. 2-2. Can you imagine if Grubb missed that homer 1-17 in that inning? How anemic this would look? Just awful. Just terrible. Just a bad look, really. Bottom of the 6th. Dave Schneck leading off. 4-11, first C. You're losing to Dave Schneck or Rudy Mioli, John Doherty and company. Because on the bench is Rich Morales and Hal Breeden and Louis Melendez. So be careful. You don't want those guys to come in the game and wreck your day. Jay Alou, 1-7, flies left. And with 2 outs, Rudy Mioli. 1-9 is a walk. He's reached 2 out of 3 times. Trying to make a bid to get into the league. No, he won't. Trust me, he won't. Cedeno, talked about this card versus righties. 2-run homer right now would be a real fun get. Here's the pitch to Cesar Cedeno. 57 is another strikeout as Messersmith bears down. I think we should take Mr. Walker out of the game. He's only going to lose this thing. He's actually bad against lefties. What if we... Mercer's the leadoff hitter. Let's let him pitch to Metzger and Dick Green, because they're horrible anyway. And then we'll see what happens. So he'll start the 7th inning. It's Roger Metzger. 64, second X. Mian is a 2 second baseman, makes the play. Dick Green, 65. It's homer 1 to 8. He doesn't have power. It's a single. There you go. So now you got Yeah, I think I want to get Walker out of here. He can still lose now, though. 6 1/3. Yeah, it's not a popular choice to yank this guy, but we're yanking him. We're going to go Cy Acosta here. Ooh, that's probably not a smart move, but we'll do it anyway. Cy Acosta will come on in the 7th with a runner at first and 1 out. And he will face the top of the lineup, Bobby Mercer, with a theory that anybody's better than Luke Walker at this point. So here's the pitch to Bobby Mercer. 67, that's a fly ball to left. That would have been Walker's column, by the way. And with 2 outs, it's Bavacqua or a pinch hitter. Let me ponder. Yeah, Kurt Bavacqua is pretty bad. He hits 211. Let's go find Duke Sims. A little Duke Sims moment here. Duke Sims will pinch hit. Famous Cleveland catcher, corner outfielder type. Here's the pitch to Duke Sims. 270, catches something. No, he doesn't. Strike out. Okay. He'll take over catching duties. Larry Cox will leave the game, and that'll be where your third baseman ends up, and that's Dave Hilton. And all they have left on the bench is Tommy Davis for a key hit-and-moment opportunity later in the game, perhaps, against the lefty. Messersmith continues in a 2-2 tie. Bottom of the 7th. We're enjoying the very best of the Gypsy Kings. Let's give this a little bit more juice here. There you go. Very best of the Gypsy Kings. Let's throw this one down. I always like this one. There we go. Bottom of the 7th inning. A little more juice. There you go. Trying to rally in a 2-2 tie in the bottom of the 7th against the very difficult Andy Messersmith. It's his breaking inning. Leading off, it's Felix putting me on. 5'11", second X. Second baseman is Dick Green at 2E15. He gave up a hit earlier. And an error! Oh boy! Nice knowing you, Dick Green. I don't think you'll be playing in Strat-O-Matic anymore after today. Someone will pick you up as a defensive second baseman, I guess. That's an error, though. Tony Oliva. 53, comebacker to the mound. Darrell Porter. 57 to K. And with 2 outs, John Doherty. He's 1 for 3 with a couple strikeouts and an RBI. 1-6 is a fly ball to right. We go to the 8th inning. 2-2. It's your number 3 hitter, Johnny Grubb. 3-10 is a fly ball to right. Bobby Bonds. 65, flies to center. You know, 6'5". That's a homer off of Luke Walker. Just saying. Flies to center field. I'm looking pretty smart now, aren't I? Right? I took Luke Walker out and look at all the outs. LaRon Lee. 2-8, grounds to third. Cy Costa. Nice little outing here. 2-2, bottom of the 8th. Messersmith starter 7, but hasn't done anything bad, really, except for the first inning. Ken McMullen in the bottom of the 8th. 1-6, flies to center. We have the modern extra inning rule with a runner at second, nobody out. So that's what we play in our little spring training thing we do. Dave Schneck, 39, rolls to third, and with 2 outs, Jay Alou, 2-8, Jay with a base hit. And Rudy Mioli, he's been on 2 out of 3 times. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. Here's the pitch to Rudy Mioli. 3-6 is single 1 of 12. He catches another hit. Rudy Mioli floppy hat day here. 2 on, 2 outs. And here's our boy, Cedeno. Like I said, a big 1-7 or 1-8 right now will really cement this card to the Astros in our league. Let's see what we get out of Cedeno. Point of weakness possibility if it's a walk or a hit or something like that. Here's your pitch to Cedeno. 6-12, a comebacker to the mound. So Messerschmidt survives again. He's put guys on, not particularly sharp. We go to the 9th inning of a 2-2 game. Let's go to Ramon Hernandez in the 9th. We'll go back to the lefty, a better one. So now, the foot and the shoe, they're in different places, or in different, the foot's on the shoe is on the wrong foot or something like that. We got a better lefty than Luke Walker. We got Ramon Hernandez for the Pirates, 5-2, 2.74 ERA in 69 innings. Was Luke Walker also on the Pirates? He was, but not in this particular season. He was on the Tigers. Luke Walker will come on in the 9th inning of a 2-2 game as a relief 2 and bear down and send us to extras, worst case. So Danny Cater leads off in the top of the 9th. Here's the pitch. 52, pops out. Now you got Dave Hilton head. Dave Hilton. 57 flies to left. And with 2 outs, it's Roger Metzger. 3-6 is a grounder to short. All right, the good news from Mexico. This is the last inning you'll have to deal with Andy Messerschmidt, the 9th inning. He's a starter 7. He can't go in extras. You got your 2, 3, and 4 hitters for a chance for a sweep. Get a run in the 9th off of Messerschmidt. 2 base runners will hit the point of weakness. Hollywood has Tom Hilgendorf and Jim Ray. There are sort of platoon relievers. One side of their card is horrendous. The other side is pretty good. So that's what we have to deal with in the 9th inning, as Hollywood would expect Messerschmidt to finish 9 innings here. It's Felix Millan. He has reached base 3 times. 2-8, lines are short. Now you got Tony Oliva. How about a 1-5, Tony? 2-4, grounds a third, and with 2 outs, Darryl Porter. I need a 1-2 here, Darryl. 66 is a walk, and it's John Doherty. Mentioned this guy a couple of times today. Just get a hit at least to get Messerschmidt out of there. Here's your pitch to John Doherty. 1-7 just misses his column and flies to right. We have bonus baseball from Mexico. Doherty will be the runner at second for his team, and Metzger will be the runner for his team. Dick Green's the batter. Are we going to bunt the road team? Yeah, the road team is so bad. They're going to bunt the runner from second to third in a 2-2 game. Here is the bunt from Dick Green. He can bunt for a single. And he does! Dick Green's an A bunter, so you don't play, you're not playing it up with a runner at second, so it's just conventional defense. And the bunt singles are for an A or 2 and 4, and he bunts for a single, catching Team Mexico sleeping on that one. Oh boy, folks! Now you got runners in the corners, nobody out. They're going to bring it up for Bobby Mercer. They'll screw it up. This is Team Hollywood Hills. They'll screw this thing up. Don't worry, folks. 2-9, maybe not. Bobby Mercer, double one, single dot, and here comes the Hollywood Hills. They have a 3-2 lead. They still have runners in the corners. They still have nobody out. They'll bring it up for Duke Sims again. 1-7's a K. All right, still up for Johnny Grubb. 48 is a K, and with 2 outs, it's Bobby Bonds. 111, you walked him. You're at the point of weakness here. LaRon Lee is the batter. Let me look at Sosa here. Yeah, let's just go with Sosa here. This game is running out of its own time there. So Hernandez leaves after an inning and 2/3. Sosa comes on in the 10th to face LaRon Lee. With the bases loaded. Yeah, the bases are loaded. You have Green, who bunt singled, Mercer, who singled, and Bonds, who walked. Bases are loaded with 2 outs, and it's LaRon Lee versus Elias Sosa in a 3-2 game. Here's the pitch. 6-10 off of Sosa. You walked him! Another bases loaded walk, scoring Dick Green. It is a 4-2 affair. And now you got Danny Cater. 58, he pops to short. Now it's a 2-run game in the bottom of the 10th. Messersmith has to turn this thing over. And it's not over yet, folks. We got some pretty lousy relievers here. McMullen, Schneck, Alou, Mioli. I think you have to start with the lefty and then go to the righty so that Schneck gets pinch hit for, and then you go to the, yeah. So Hilgendorf will start the 10th. And he's actually horrendous versus left-handed pitching, left-handed hitters. He's good against righties. So he will start the 10th inning here with John Doherty at second base. And the batter is Ken McMullen, the tie run in a 4-2 game. Here's the pitch to Ken McMullen. 3-7's a K. Now you got Dave Schneck. This is the weird lefty-lefty thing where, I mean, if you're rolling the pitcher's card, you're in great shape here. Like Dave Schneck hits about 160 or 170 versus lefties. But with Hilgendorf on the mound, make it 250, 270. On the bench, you got Morales, Breeden, Louis Melendez. One of these lefties has to hit off of this guy. Mioli will hit off the lefty if the guy's still even in there by then. And if we go to a pinch hitter, do you go to Jim Ray now? You very well could. But, oh boy, folks. We'll go Hal Breeden as a pinch hitter. And he's not a scary guy either, so he'll face this guy. We're not going to hook Hilgendorf until Mioli comes up, if he ever comes up. So Hal Breeden will pinch hit for Schneck. Here's the pitch to Hal Breeden. 5-10. Catcher's card either side of the card. And the catcher is Duke Sims. A 4-16, opening the door there. And it's an error on Duke Sims, the guy who came in to catch late in the game. So Breeden reaches on an error. You got runners on the corners in a 4-2 game now. You got J.L. Liu. Let me look at Jim Ray. Jim Ray just walks a lot of guys. That's fine. Let's bring in Jim Ray. Hilgendorf is just, yeah. He's obviously going to get to Mioli anyway. So let's get him out of there, as Alou is also good against lefties. So Hilgendorf got one guy out. There are runners on the corners in the 10th inning, and Jim Ray is the closer. Jim Ray was a longtime Houston pitcher. Went to the Tigers in 74 with a 4.50 ERA in 52 innings. He's asked to get a couple outs here and continue this series. Face J.L. Liu with runners on the corners. And here is your pitch. 68 is a base hit to center field. 1 run scores. Hal Breeden will hold at second. He's a terrible runner. He's a 9. Maybe should have pinch ran for him, but didn't. And frankly, the pinch running options weren't that great either. So you have first and second with 1 out in a 4-3 game. And it is Rudy Mioli, the number 9 hitter. He's reached 3 times today with 2 singles and a walk. Like I said, Jim Ray just walks a lot of guys, but a walk's not going to score a run. 2 of them would. Here's your pitch to Rudy Mioli. 5-10 off of Jim Ray. It's a home run if you have power. Of course he doesn't. But it's a single that ties the game, scoring Breeden, and it sends Alou to third in a 4-4 game in the bottom of the 10th for Team Mexico. And now you got Cesar Cedeno up there. Oh my! Some tragic relief work late in this one, folks. This was 2-2, and now it's 2-2 in the 10th. Or yeah, it's 2-2 in the 10th. It's 4-4. So Alou's at third, Mioli's at first. Had I pinched hit a guy with power, the game be over by now. But Nioli made it was just a single. So you have first and third. 1 out. Cedeno, infield has to come up for Cesar Cedeno. Here's the pitch. 57's a K, and with 2 outs. Oh, don't tell me I got to play another extra inning here. It's Felix putting me on. Come on, Felix, get a walk-off hit. 44 off of Reyes' third X. It's Bavacqua. No, we lifted Bavacqua, right? It's Hilton, right? Hilton. He's a 3E34. Oh, we need an error single here. 3. We get a single off of the glove of Dave, the range of Dave Hilton. He's a 334 third baseman. He sneaks it through. That scores J. Alu, and that walks the thing off. And that's your ball game as Jim Ray can't get anybody out. And that's it. Oh, we got one guy out. We'll take this right to the post game, folks. And Sosa got, let's see, at the top of the inning, he got 1 out, LaRon Lee. Yeah, he got 1 out in that one. Or 2 outs. No, just 1 out, yeah, at the top of the inning. So Sosa will get the win, making the last out on the top of the 10th. And the loss goes to Ray, right? Because he pitched to J. Alu, who scored the winning run. So, let's go right to this box. What an ugly game of Strat-O-Matic, folks. That's just what you get. Just a lousy game of Strat-O-Matic today between Hollywood and Team Mexico. Or a great game if you think going in extra innings with each team scoring a bunch of runs. Yeah, it's either great or awful. Keep one eye open or one eye closed, as we often like to say. Sosa gets the victory. He walked a batter, got the final out of that inning. Otherwise, in that inning, Ramon Hernandez gives up 2 singles, 2 runs. Only 1 is earned, a walk, and 2 Ks, and a 3 up and 3 down 9th inning. The inherited runner scoring, the guy who scores from second, I don't charge that as an earned run. I guess you're not supposed to. I make it an unearned run. I don't know if Major League Baseball does that. I'm assuming they do that. I don't know why you would charge an earned run to a pitcher who had nothing to do with the reason why he's at second base. But Cy Acosta came in for 5 outs, and that was here. Bobby Mercer, Duke Sims, and that guy. So he struck out a batter. And 6 1/3 for Luke Walker, who got a nice no decision, though he put a lot of men on. He gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits for Luke, 2 runs on the 2-run homer. Did walk a lot of guys. Walked 6, struck out 2. Nice and old no decision. All right, this miserable bottom of the 10th inning. So Hilgendorf started the inning. He struck out a batter. And then the batter for Dave Schneck was Breeden. And he pitched to him, and he reached on an error. And that guy scored. So Hilgendorf gave up an unearned run. All right, now Jim Ray came in to face Alu and gave up 3 singles in this thing. He gave up the J. Alu single on his card, the Rudy Mioli homer chance single, and the Felix Mian single on the defense. So 3 hits, 2 runs. I don't think any of those are earned, are they? Obviously, the error is an unearned run. 1 was earned, and the other one happened with 2 outs as an unearned run. And the strikeout, so there it is. So in this 1/10th inning, all this method is right there. It's 3 hits, 3 runs, and a strikeout. Yeah, 2 strikeouts. Each pitcher struck a batter out. There you go. And everything else is Messersmith, who got a disappointing no decision. Messersmith, 11 hits, though. Yeah, that's not exactly the sharpest of outings. So Messersmith, 11 hits, but just 2 runs. Happened in the first. Walked 3, struck out 7. My goodness. 1-0-0-10, 0-1-0, 9 2/3. 5-14, 4-7. 85393985, and that will make it a 3-game sweep for Team Mexico. I'm loving it. Like I said, it's a little different from a year ago. They were knocked out in this round, and this year they get past this round. Good story. They were also, I might want to add, 4-7. So they weren't. We've seen teams go 0-7, 1-7. Well, actually, Hollywood will be 1-7. There you go. So Mexico's 4-4, and Hollywood's 1-7. So we'll go right to the bracket, show you how we plug this all in, folks. So in the 3-game sweep here, Mr. Smith and Walker. For Hollywood, we just put done in the round of 3. They're done. Goodbye. Good riddance. And so Don Wilson could pitch game 1. I think they're going to go with Forsh, Don Wilson. And then they can go with Spillner or Luke Walker. I guess I'll go with Luke Walker again over here in their next series. I mean, he just pitched, as you saw, and he was reasonably good because again, righties, he's not horrible versus righties. And I kind of like my starter. If I got to start a lousy lefty, if he's bad against lefties, that doesn't concern me that much. If he's bad against righties, it's going to be an ugly day. So, and let's come over here. Here's this bracket. You got a 3-0 victory. So Hollywood, my goodness, 1-4 or 1-7. Bye-bye, Hollywood. And so you have a 4-4 Mexico and a 4-4 SeaTac. Oh boy, I need a tiebreaker, I guess. SeaTac is a 3, Hollywood, Mexico's a 4. So SeaTac will be here then. So they are here for the moment at 4-4. And Mexico is here at 4-4. And it's pretty simple to check your math. Right there. Look, you got 4-4, 4-4. It's 500, right? 1-7, 7-1. This is the little check your math department. So you go -6, 0, 0. This is games over 500. And you always want that number there to be 0. So with just one bracket game, we still don't know overall seeding yet. We're just putting these results in here now, and then for the round of 3, we'll start giving teams seeds and giving them matchups. Don't want to seed it yet because we don't know with a 500 record, a 500 record, a game under, a game over, and a 500 record. We could have teams with losing records win these series. So we don't do seeds right now. So with that, we'll pause this part of the video, and after the break, we'll look at the 20 cards of Team Hollywood. So we'll finally get the chance to look at some 1974 cards, so stick around. All right, folks, we are back with the Hollywood 20 cards that we're eliminating, and to see if we think any of these cards are going to play in our league, summer league. We'll begin with the keepers. Bavacqua is a keeper, but it's going to be with a 77 card that's very good, and so we're not going to take that one. So here's the Bonds card. Didn't play pretty well in the series, though. Sparkling defense, a AA stealer, and 21 home runs. He's got a better 77, so I don't know. Maybe they might take that one. Johnny Grubb's a 1 in left field with this card. He also has a great 77. So these are like backup playing cards so far. Maybe this is why this team lost. Metzger's a 1 at short, so don't discount this card here at all, even though the batting average isn't very good. If you're a 1, I mean, you'll get in the league. Now, the question is, he's a 1 3 different occasions. Here, it's with a 253 average. It just doesn't look glamorous on this card. Most of it's in a platoon on the left side, or a little bit better. This card very well could make the Houston roster. We got Bobby Mercer, traded to the Giants. He's got a nice 75. He's a 2-2 in center. They don't need him to play center field with this card, by the way, because they have Larry Herndon and they have Von Joshua doing that. Now some pitchers. Bill Singer. And I like this card. I know he doesn't pitch on 3 days rest, or does he? He doesn't. He will do it again. I think he was hurt this year. I'm willing to get over the walks against lefties because there's no home runs there. There's no home runs against righties. He didn't have a great outing in the series we played, but it's mostly because his team was lousy. But I like a starter rate like this. I like this card. I don't need Singer to give me 200 innings. He's done that enough in his career. All right, and then there's Ray Burris here. And he is on the keeper list of the Cubs, but I think they want him to start, so I don't know if they'll go with that one. And then we have Hilgendorf, also on the keeper list, but this is where you run into trouble. Lefties just bang on this guy terribly, and yeah, he's good against righties, but that's a risky proposition to have this guy in your bullpen, and when you really need to get a lefty out, you don't have that. All right, now you got a waiver list here. And it's actually, the first guy is really interesting. Danny Cater, for a nice chunk of his career, was known as a high batting average, not enough power to play first base. Well, in this small sample, his average goes down, but the power goes up. He's got 5 homers and 126 at-bats now. Tommy Davis is still hitting away, but he has no position, though if he did have a position, it'd be poor anyway. Batting average, hitting run ability, 289. A full-time Baltimore DH, which might explain Baltimore's offensive troubles in 1974, relying on production out of that card. We talked about Dick Green in the series. The 2 defense got picked on a few times, which I'm just going to call that bad luck. He's a great defensive second baseman, but the stick is gone. Of course, against righties, he's better against righties than lefties, plus he's got power. You figure someone will pick him up. The thing that hurts him, though, is he doesn't play shortstop or third as a utility role. And the last wavered player is Duke Sims. I think he's finally lost it, though, folks. He just doesn't get on enough. He used to have power and walks, and now he doesn't have anything like that anymore. I think it's time to retire this card. So now we get to the undrafted free agents, guys who play in 74, haven't been in our league yet. Larry Cox has some nice years in the later part of the decade, but not right now. That's not going to work. Not to mention he's a +2 arm catcher, hitting 170. You got Dave Hilton, a third baseman. Now here's the thing with Dave here, is that he's decent against righties. He's barely okay there. He's terrible against lefties. His defense isn't particularly good. He gave up the hit to end the game as a .334 third baseman. I don't like the homer 4 fly ball arrest there on 7. That's just a killer. I practically don't think this guy's going to make the league or get picked up. LaRon Lee, he used to have a really nice card, hitting 300. Now, you know, it's a shame that he has those homers against lefties, which kind of get wasted because you think you probably wouldn't play him, or you'd play him in a platoon only, and he doesn't have the blazing speed anymore. He doesn't make a lot of contact. He hits in a lot of double plays, doesn't draw walks. There's just not a lot to hang the hat on here. I don't think this guy makes it. All right, next is Steve Klein. Starter 5, which means he's really a long reliever. Let's face it. And a .464 ERA. He's just a guy. Jim Ray, we had him close that game out. You saw the walks. I mentioned the walks. There they are against lefties. There's that homer on 5-10 that Mioli hit. Against righties, he's okay. Definitely not a closer. He could be a long reliever, but he's just a guy. He's in competition with a bunch of Jags like this with a .450 ERA. All right, and this last little group, these are really talented players who are already in our league. This is that Messersmith card we just played. Hard to believe he's got a better card than 75. I think he's a starter 8 with his 75 card. It's even better than this. And then Jerry Royce has a futures card. Here, it's a 350 ERA and 260 innings, but he's got a futures card. As does Hooten, who really struggled with this card. Last year with the Cubs, but I believe Toronto has took him in the expansion, and his career gets much better from 75 and beyond. So that'll do it. So thanks for checking out this elimination of Team Hollywood's cards, and we'll see you next time.